time management, the idea that you can actually manage time itself is a myth. I was thinking about this because I saw a video on YouTube. Now, I haven't even watched it yet, so I don't even know if it's, I don't know if he agrees with me, disagrees with me, whatever, but this algorithm fed this video to me, Secrets of Modern Time Management. And it made me realize it's been a while since I talked about time management and those related topics. So here we are. Yeah, Amazon does have a whole category of books on time management. Go to the bookstore. There's all sorts of things that have been written about time management, all sorts of resources out there. There's entire categories of software that call themselves time management software, but all of that is a misnomer because, like I said, you can't manage time. Time's gonna keep slipping into the future, regardless of what you try to do about it. So today we're going to talk about what you can manage if you're having those feelings that draw you towards learning more about time management, and how to get more done, how to be more productive, how to accomplish what matters. If this sounds good to you, don't forget to like and subscribe so you get more content like this delivered to you. These are the proven direct response marketing, copywriting, and entrepreneurship success strategies you can use today to write your own ticket and create the life you want. I am Roy Furr, and this is Breakthrough Marketing Secrets. Now, here's today's breakthrough. Okay, so today's episode, it's sponsored by me, as usual. I couldn't choose between which link I wanted to provide you between these two. So I'm going to go ahead and offer up double sponsorship for today's episode. Link 1, small work, big productivity. This is about the whole tactical breaking down of work and achieving more. And it does absolutely go beyond just that, but that's link 1 in the description. Link 2 is training your subconscious success mechanism. Now you're going to see why that's relevant as we go deeper into this episode, but check the link in the description to training your subconscious success mechanism. Both of them are yours with a BTMSinsiders membership. That's like my training library for copywriters, marketers, entrepreneurs, people who want to be more successful and who are involved with marketing. The links are all in the description. You get instant access to the entire catalog, including small work, big productivity, and training your subconscious success mechanism when you sign up for BTMS Insiders. Okay, so you can't manage time. You just can't. But here's what you can manage. You can manage your state. You can manage your energy and your emotions, the things that lead to your present state of being in the world. So for example, I keep looking over, I have a snack sitting there because I know that when my blood sugar starts to drop towards the middle of the day around lunchtime, that my productivity, my focus is going to go down, my head will get more cloudy, and just managing state is important. You can manage your focus. You can manage what you are focused on, what you pay attention to. Cultivating the practice of focus through meditation is incredibly powerful for your long-term ability to manage your focus. But even in this moment right now, noticing when you get distracted is a way to help manage your focus and bringing your focus back towards what you want to be focused on. You can manage your thinking. You can manage the stories that you repeat to yourself, the language that you use as you talk to yourself. You can manage the inputs that you're taking in. If you're just scrolling through social media, or if you're just reading all the bad news you can find, all of those inputs contribute to your current thinking, and you can manage that, or you can focus on inputs that are positive, such as this episode, which you're doing the right thing with this. You can manage your planning, which is part of managing your thinking. So you can manage, I'm going to make a plan to do these things. Now we're going to get into those plans in just a minute and how they relate to all of this. But you can manage the planning that you do. You can do more or less planning. You can do more effective or less effective planning. And that's all part of managing your thinking. You can manage your environment. You can manage your physical environment, the space around you. You can manage your digital environment. So for example, installing web filters or focus software that helps you focus at certain times. You can manage that environment. You can manage your social environment, the people that you choose to keep around you from day to day, the people who you work to spend more time with and the people who you work to spend less time with, the people who you recruit to help you with your goals, and the people who maybe would hold you back. You can manage your social, your digital, your physical environment. And you can manage your behavior, what you're actually doing in the moment. You can manage the actions that you're taking. You can manage your habits. What habit do you have on a daily basis that's taking you further from your goal or slowing progress towards your goal? What habits do you do on a daily basis that help you accelerate your progress towards your goal? You can manage. It always starts with managing actions, but actions repeated become habits. And so, going from the top there, I said you can't manage time, but you can manage your state, your focus, your thinking, your environment, your behavior. You can manage those things while time keeps ticking. That clock on the wall is going to keep ticking away all the seconds. And you're not managing those seconds. You're managing yourself in the context of what's going on during those seconds. So with all that said, why does time management advice fail? Well, aside from it being a misnomer that has you focusing on the clock, time management also tends to treat us like robots or computers. It's like, execute this program at this time, and then at this time, execute this program. And we're not robots. We're human beings. And as human beings, we are not necessarily able always to say, I'm going to execute this program at this time, and voila, it's a success. Time is managed, right? And for those of us who are diagnosable with ADHD or diagnosed with ADHD, I was diagnosed ADHD inattentive as an adult. This can be even more challenging because we have every intention to run that program at that time to do that thing. And we struggle with that. And that can contribute even more to my next point, which is that all of this time management advice that's like, execute this program at this time, is all based on this external world, right? But we have this internal world full of often unacknowledged emotions, right? So for example, the person who has ADHD, who makes plans and has every intention, recognizes the importance of doing those plans and has every intention to succeed with them. But then something happens and they spend their time doing something else and they feel like a complete and utter failure because they missed doing their plan. Well, suddenly there's this whole welling up of shame and negative emotions that come. And that is going to have a bigger impact on productivity going forward than the fact that they didn't achieve that goal for that moment in time. And if you don't deal with these things, if you don't internally center yourself and be willing to accept that these emotions are at play and they have an impact on our ability to complete our plans, well, it makes us super susceptible. It makes us susceptible to just an ever-growing sense of failure and anxiety and disappointment for failing to live up to our own internal expectations, and all of this emotional baggage that we're carrying along. It really makes us, it makes it so our desire to plan our time or to plan what we're doing during the time or to manage what we're doing during the time and to manage all those things, it's in flux, it's in flow, it's not going to go as we plan it. And it is made even worse because we have this external world full of more distractions than ever before. The world's distractions are at your fingertip, especially if you're a desk worker and you're sitting there with access to the internet. There's also this external world full of shifting priorities, and things seem to be moving faster than ever. And have I implemented this thing or this thing or this thing yet? And there's way too much for us to ever be able to get to. And the more internally we feel like oh, we're a failure for not getting to those things, the worse it all gets. And the more we tend to pursue those distractions and shifting priorities because we feel like, oh, maybe that's going to fix it. And that external world is increasingly built to steal our focus away. There's the apps with infinite scroll, which at first I liked, but now it's like I recognize that there's this pain that comes from that infinite scroll too, because I don't know when to stop. And social media is maybe the worst for it, because there's just this constant dopamine deluge programmed by, or like created by algorithms, programmed by humans who say, how can we get people to fall even deeper down our rabbit hole? Because the longer they engage your attention, the more advertising dollars they make, right? And so there's this external world built to steal our focus. And if we are unwilling to confront the negative emotions that maybe cause a little speed bump, what happens is we go for self-soothing in that dopamine deluge of all the distractions in the world. And we find it harder to focus on those things like managing our state, managing our focus, managing our thinking, managing our environment, managing our behavior. And so self-management becomes the real secret. It's not time management, it's self-management. And any external fixes that we try to bolt on for these internal struggles will seldom succeed. At best, that new planner is going to feel forced and empty if you don't figure out the internal stuff first. You have to figure out the internal stuff first in order for the external stuff to start to work for you. And so you must acknowledge these internal obstacles that are always going to be coming up. Enlightenment is not never having internal obstacles. Enlightenment is being willing to confront internal obstacles as they arise and to accept them, and not to try to completely reject them, but to say, okay, this is something that I now have to deal with. And how can I meet this? Like, what's it telling me? Why is it here? How is it influencing me? And learn from that. And then the obstacle tends to be much less than our greatest fears. And so these internal obstacles are things like, just any welling up of emotion. It can definitely be agony. It can be fear, self-doubt, indecision. It's all these things that, as long as we're trying to reject them and suppress them and not face them, they become our shadow selves. They become the like little aspect of our personality, that part of our personality that pulls us to distraction, that pulls us to social media addictions, that pulls us to other more dangerous addictions, that pulls us into anything so we don't have to deal with the core emotion. But when we deal with that core emotion that sometimes is very subconscious, like what we're practicing is we're practicing psychic alchemy. Like there's that ancient field of alchemy, this whole idea of turning lead into gold. And I learned pretty early on that there's no science behind that. Like the actual process of turning the metal lead into the metal gold is not really going to happen. But it is a journey of self-discovery to turn all these leaden emotions into gold, to go through the negative, to find positive, to find your internal self-power, your personal power, to go through the dark to find the light that is inside of you. And that comes from not the suppression of the darkness, the rejection of the negative emotions. It's a willingness to face the difficulty, to grow through adversity, through challenges, through negative emotions, through not always loving yourself, but learning to love yourself even when you don't love yourself. And then once that internal is addressed, the external stuff becomes easier. When the internal is addressed, the external stuff becomes easier. And then it becomes about the things that have been sold to you, the Band-Aid fixes that have been sold to you regarding time management. Things like, I'm going to define this big goal. I'm going to define the projects that are going to get me to that goal. I'm going to define the milestones that I have to pass along the way to succeed in that project. And I'm going to define the tasks that are going to get me to those milestones. And then working the plan with things like a task list, with things like blocking time on your calendar to do that work, with those things, those external things. But you're going to struggle. You're going to struggle if you try to do those things first, because all of that emotion, yeah, okay, every day you're going to have to be doing tasks. You're going to have to be managing your workload. You're going to have to be doing that. But the quicker you can deal with the negative emotions that come up, the fear, the doubt, the indecision, the quicker you can deal with those and face them, not hide from them, not push them away, the quicker all of those external fixes that have been sold to you a million times over under the guise of this time management thing are actually going to start working for you. So those resources related to today's episode are Small Work, Big Productivity, and Training Your Subconscious Success Mechanism. Both of those trainings are available for instant streaming access through BTMS Insiders membership, and they're exclusive. So you got to become an insider if you want access to those trainings. It's $97 a month, and yeah, so it's easy to get in, and you get instant streaming access to binge those and any of the dozens of other training titles in the BTMS Insiders catalog. I'm Roy Furr. This is Breakthrough Marketing Secrets. Clearly, there's not a lot. There is marketing here. There's not a lot of overt marketing wisdom here, but your prospects are feeling those things too. So normally I do talk about marketing and copywriting and business building and all that good stuff. And sometimes I talk about how to build yourself, how to grow yourself, because that will make you a more successful copywriter, marketer, entrepreneur. If you want more, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will catch you again in the next episode. Thank you once again for tuning in to this daily episode of Breakthrough Marketing Secrets. Remember, check out the links with this episode for even more value. Now make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe, and engage in every way you can to keep this show going and growing and delivering daily value to you. I'll catch you soon for your next big breakthrough.